In the third year of marrying the top celebrity, his kept mistress in the separate villa was discovered. For a time, the media in Jingbei scrambled to report. To prevent the title of homewrecker from falling on the mistress, Ethan placed the divorce agreement in front of me. Charles has supported me, and Chloe is his responsibility. I can't stand by and watch this happen. Whether during their courtship or after marriage, Chloe was always Ethan's first choice. In my previous life, I broke down, went mad, and argued endlessly with him, simply refusing to get a divorce. Until I was so severely depressed that I lay in the hospital unable to speak. He was convinced I was faking illness to avoid divorce, fabricated evidence of my infidelity, and directly sued me. Meanwhile, Chloe moved in, taking everything I had worked for, gaining both fame and fortune. Desperate, I ran out of the hospital, only to be hit by a car that suddenly sped out and thrown into the river. The moment the cold water covered my head, I finally saw Ethan clearly. When I came to again, I no longer entangled myself with the scumbag and the bitch. I turned around and threw myself into the arms of the domineering CEO, my male god. Serena, once this is all over, I'll remarry you, okay? The hillside villa was also the home Ethan and I shared as newlyweds. I was still reeling from my second chance at life when Ethan arrived with Chloe. It had been less than an hour since the paparazzi broke the scandal that Chloe was allegedly Ethan's mistress. Ethan had already made his decision. In the last life, every detail of Chloe's past was dug up by the paparazzi, branding her shameless, a homewrecker who had destroyed my perfect marriage with Ethan. For a while, the internet was flooded with people lamenting, "I'll never believe in love again." When Ethan announced our marriage at the height of his career, not only was he unaffected by public opinion, but his popularity actually grew day by day under the label of a real man. However, as the image of Ethan as the perfect lover crumbled, major brands began to sever their contracts. The last time Ethan brought up divorce, I burned all the photos and mementos of us in a fit of rage, my eyes red as I confronted him about his feelings for Chloe. The daughter of an elder's late wife, was she really worth Ethan paying such a price? And all just to protect Chloe from online harassment. Meanwhile, I suffered deeply from depression, stalked and insulted by Ethan's obsessive fans. In countless nightmares, I begged desperately before Ethan's cold, unfeeling face. Serena. Ethan called my name again, pulling me back from the darkness of those memories. I lowered my gaze to the freshly printed divorce agreement on the table, the paper still faintly warm. Ethan stepped in front of me and knelt down on one knee, placing his hand over mine. The familiar touch made me look into his eyes, and Ethan gazed at me with deep affection. His expression was as if, at this moment, if I asked him for the stars in the sky, he wouldn't disappoint me. But the words he spoke were chilling beyond measure. Serena, just do it for me, okay? Tell everyone we've been separated for 2 years, and that we haven't divorced because of the pressure from our elders. I looked at Chloe. It was already late autumn, yet she was still wearing a pristine white dress, a bracelet on her wrist that Ethan had specially gone to City A to buy for her, draped in Ethan's jacket, her eyes red as she looked at me. Serena, please, help me and Ethan. I don't want Ethan to lose his bright future because of me. Please, Serena. Her tears fell with her words, the sound of them hitting the floor, or perhaps Ethan's heart, echoing softly. I let out a short, bitter laugh. What a pair of caring lovers they made. I could only blame my own foolishness in a past life for clinging so desperately to Ethan. Ethan immediately stood and pulled her into his arms, his voice gentle, "Don't cry. I'll fix everything. I won't let you suffer." Then he turned to look at me. "I'm not here to negotiate. I'm already preparing for the press conference. If you don't agree, don't blame me." I looked at him calmly, saying nothing, leaving the words he hadn't spoken stuck in his throat. But I had already heard it once before. He said, "You know Leo's methods. I have countless ways to make you agree. For the sake of 3 years of marriage, I'll give you some dignity." These were the words he said to me in his past life, and he truly fulfilled them. Opinions were overturned overnight. Chloe became his devoted lover, while I was branded a slut everyone wanted to condemn. The contract is signed. You owe me one favor. I wrote my name next to Ethan's signature and closed the document. Ethan looked at me. All right, let me know when you've decided. I stood up to see him out. Aren't you going to take a good look at the terms of the agreement? No. He gave up all his assets, leaving only the villa beneath his feet. Billions in assets, all just to protect his Chloe. Today is the weekend, we'll handle the paperwork on Monday. Okay. I replied calmly. Ethan's expression froze, his bewildered eyes fixed on me, but he didn't speak for a long moment. I opened the door and stepped aside, letting them leave. As they walked out hand in hand, Chloe silently mouthed to me with her red lips parted, I won. She was right, she not only won Ethan, but also won a lifetime from me. This time, I didn't want to lose again. I had just turned back to the living room when a message from Ethan appeared on my phone. Serena, I'm sorry you had to suffer because of this. Once the storm passes, I'll take you to Port City and give you an unparalleled wedding. Chloe can't handle such immense pressure, and I can't just stand by. You'll understand me, won't you? The exact same excuse as last time. I looked at my phone and couldn't help but laugh. Last time, he gathered a bunch of brothers to brainstorm. They all advised Ethan not to sacrifice everything he had painstakingly built because of Chloe. Then, behind my back, they made excuses for Ethan, saying this was just a sign of his loyalty and affection. Moreover, if it weren't for Chloe's father back then, Ethan might still be an unknown nobody. He wouldn't have achieved what he has today. At that time, I was sobbing uncontrollably, hysterically retorting, even if we don't divorce, there are countless ways to clear things up. Why do you have to force me? Everyone fell silent. Later, I found out that Ethan had already answered this question long ago. Someone will definitely get hurt by this. I can only apologize to Serena. She's loved me for so many years and will understand me. There's no such logic in the world. I've loved him for so many years, so I sacrificed myself. But it's okay, I still have a chance. Ethan is always exceptionally efficient when handling matters related to Chloe. The agreement was signed just yesterday, and early the next morning, a press conference was held, with the agent inviting me to attend. I looked at Leo's hesitant eyes, quietly waiting for him to speak. But he only told me, Miss Serena, you should attend this press conference, not just for Ethan, but for yourself as well. This was obviously a message from Ethan through him. He was telling me that if I didn't attend, he would use other means to force me to comply. I have experienced Ethan's methods firsthand in my past life. Even now, I still can't figure out whether I am Ethan's wife or his mortal enemy. He is now desperate to clear Chloe's name in public and distance himself from me. And as for me, I am even more eager. This highly anticipated press conference was held at Ethan's own entertainment company, inviting the most authoritative media in the industry. Ethan remained the dazzling top star, with Chloe intimately holding his arm. The two appeared side by side, like a celestial couple. All the reporters swarmed forward. Ethan immediately shielded Chloe, facing all the questions alone. Once the press conference begins, all your questions will be answered. Please be quiet and make way. The reporter in front of me looked at my expression and directly held the microphone up to me. Miss Serena, may I ask if your marriage with Ethan has really changed? I looked at him, raised the corner of my mouth firmly, and said, yes. Seeing that I did not avoid the question at all, the reporters began to ask one after another. You and Mr. Ethan have known each other since childhood, with 8 years of relationship. To break up just like that, what are your thoughts? The Hong Kong media revealed that Mr. Ethan spent a fortune last month to buy a villa for you, which is now operating normally. At the auction in City A, Mr. Ethan also made a big splash, bidding high on the final jewelry piece. What exactly is the reason that all these things he did for you cannot be salvaged? I looked up at Ethan and Chloe on the stage, laughing and chatting as if no one else was around. I kept my smile and replied, that's what he owes me. As for the auction you mentioned, well, the items aren't in my hands. My gaze shifted to Chloe's wrist, and the reporters' cameras followed suit. That grand wedding back then was unmatched in the entertainment industry even to this day. Miss Serena, do you really no longer love Ethan? Sweat was already beading on the reporter's face, but he still looked at me resolutely. The surrounding media fell silent, and Ethan and Chloe on stage also fixed their eyes on me. I saw a flash of irritation cross Ethan's face. He turned to face the camera, lifting the corner of his mouth. I don't love her anymore. The past is behind us, my love will never linger. Before the press conference even ended, as soon as Ethan uttered that our relationship had long been broken, I left the scene. His vague excuses and Chloe's sniffles beside him turned me into a villain doubted by everyone. Public opinion flipped instantly, casting Chloe as the sole innocent victim. The press conference video was reposted and pinned on major websites, its popularity unwaning for a week. Especially when Ethan said, "If it weren't for pressure from our elders, Miss Serena and I would have separated long ago. We shouldn't be using public resources, but since Miss Chloe was innocently implicated, I had to clarify publicly. My relationship with Miss Chloe is not the reason for our divorce, and Miss Serena is not as the rumors online suggest. She is a good, positive girl, and her father has been a great help to me. Our close friendship is nothing improper." As the public sentiment fermented, I even became the malicious woman who destroyed their pure friendship, a morally corrupt social toxin. Some went further, saying I was ill-bred, reckless despite being married, thoughtless of my family, only venting my own frustrations. I was even honored with the title of the worst ex-wife in the entertainment industry. In an instant, I became the target of attacks from major marketing accounts trying to boost their follower counts. After finishing the formalities, I went downstairs from our marital home with the documents in hand, taking nothing else with me. Everything here made me feel sick. As I was leaving, Ethan called out to me. The internet has a short memory. After a while, when something new comes up, everyone will forget about this. Don't take it to heart. I stopped in my tracks, unable to help but chuckle softly. How come Chloe took it to heart? Both of us were cyberbullied, so why was the difference so vast? Serena, winter is coming soon. Take some time to rest. When spring arrives, we'll remarry, okay? He said he was coming toward me, and I felt a wave of nausea, stepping back. Just then, Chloe came in through the door, and it seemed like two reporters were standing outside. Ethan averted his gaze, trying to ease the awkwardness, then turned back to me and said, "Chloe's been in a bad mood these past few days. I was afraid she might do something rash, so I let her stay here for now. That has nothing to do with me. I'm going back to City A. Going back is fine. Uncle Simon must be missing you a lot. I'll come pick you up when spring comes." "No need, I'm not coming back." I cut off what Ethan was about to say. "The condition for me signing the divorce papers is that we never see each other again." Ethan reached out to take Chloe's hand, then let it fall, staring at me in stunned silence. Now that I was back here, I wouldn't let emotions become a shackle again. I looked at him, smiling brightly. "Ethan, I'm serious. I hope you never appear in my world again." When Serena left, Ethan felt an unprecedented sense of loss. Things had gone far more smoothly than he had imagined, yet he was more uneasy than ever. She left his life quietly, without argument or blame. But on the day he missed their wedding anniversary, Serena, furious, caused a scene everywhere, even slapping him in front of all their friends. He thought his plan would drive Serena crazy. But he was prepared. Yet she simply signed her name casually, her expression as indifferent as a bystander. But Ethan didn't mind. Serena loved him, and he would make up for it doubly in the time to come. Chloe, however, was different. She couldn't be hurt by these things, because her father Charles had helped him as if giving him a new life. Chloe was a delicate little girl, unlike Serena who had a prominent family and loving parents. He couldn't let her suffer any harm because of him. Without Charles, he would have remained unknown his whole life. He wouldn't have the fame and status he enjoys today. He wasn't worthy of Chloe. Since he had promised Charles, he could never betray that trust. A friend once asked him, "You did so much for Chloe. If you had to do it all over again, would you still choose Serena?" Ethan was indifferent. "No matter what I choose, Serena will firmly choose me." With that in mind, Ethan returned to the villa. He and Serena had spent most of their time here. Serena was the most celebrated jewelry designer in City A. At first, the socialites and wealthy wives who came because of her father were eventually won over by her flawless designs. Serena had her own brand in her teens and swept the major national design awards within just 2 years. Everyone said she was a genius designer and the future leader of the industry. And indeed, she was. Until Serena and Ethan got married. Her inspiration was no longer what it used to be, and all the careful guidance from her mentors had little effect. Eventually, Serena herself gave up. She stayed at home peacefully, day after day, waiting for him to come home. Ethan walked into her studio, where a complete set of pearl jewelry designs lay vividly on the paper. They were just simple sketches, without delving into details, yet they were impossible to look away from. Ethan looked at the signature in the lower right corner. It was the day he took Chloe to the villa. A bitter smile crept onto his lips. He returned to their bedroom and lay down on the side Serena loved to rest on. He had told himself countless times that soon he would be with Serena again. He wanted to give her a wedding even more magnificent than the last, one that everyone would envy. But the emptiness in his heart made it impossible for him to find peace. Just the thought of Serena's rambling when she was angry today made him unbearably irritated. They had their home in City A. If she didn't come back, where else would she go? That's right, she hadn't packed anything, she would come back. Definitely. Knock knock, the bedroom door was knocked, and Chloe pushed it open. She wore a white lace nightgown, incredibly thin, her cheeks flushed, standing quietly at the doorway. Didn't I ask the nanny to tidy up the guest room? Isn't it ready yet? I'm scared all alone. Am I bothering you? Ethan frowned but still comforted her. It's okay, I'm right next door. Just call me if you need anything. As he spoke, Chloe had already walked to the bedside. Ethan. I'm at your place, but I don't want to stay in the guest room. Is that okay? Her tone was gentle and probing, her eyes tender and moist. Ethan's brows furrowed even more, about to refuse. But seeing the slight redness at the corner of Chloe's eyes, he softened. The plane landed, and my parents were already waiting for me. Standing behind them was Nathan. In the last life, after I died, he flew to City A at once, eyes red, and brought my body back. Then he went back and confronted all the shareholders of Ethan's company, beating him down until he couldn't stand. The next time I saw him, I wanted to greet him. But he simply took my luggage lightly and led the way ahead. I remembered again when I went to my deskmate's house in high school to get something, got lost on the way back, and ran into some thugs. He happened to be passing by on his bike. I thought he would ignore me. But he knocked down the whole group, turned around, and said to me, "Get on, I'll take you home." Serena, you've lost weight. My mom held my hand, pulling me back from my daydream. I looked into my parents' worried eyes and suddenly froze, feeling a wave of sadness. In my previous life, the matter between Ethan and me caused a huge uproar. My dad rushed overnight to City A, pleading earnestly, "Ethan isn't someone you can rely on, and he has no sense of order in what he does. He talks about repaying kindness, but it was he who first refused your help, which led to the Chung family's investment. Serena, you two aren't right for each other. If you're breaking up, then so be it. I'll take you home." I refused, crying and throwing a tantrum, insisting on staying in City A. My old father watched my frantic behavior, tears welling up at the corners of his eyes. I love him. I don't want to leave him. Even if I die, I want to die by Ethan's side. Father's anger and stress overwhelmed him, and he was rushed into the ICU, nearly slipping away several times. Mother hurried over, her hair turning white overnight. Later, when father improved, he didn't say a word to me. Mother advised, "Your father has always supported you, but Ethan is not a good man." It took me a lifetime to truly hear these heartfelt words. It also took me a lifetime to understand them. To Ethan, I am not important. I've been inspired these past few days, so I've been a bit tired from working on the manuscript. Mom and Dad, don't worry, I'm fine. My mother thought I was putting on a brave face and broke down in tears. She said nothing the whole way, just walked quickly ahead, afraid I would change my mind and run back to City A. The trending topics online still revolved around the three of us, with endless content. It went from blaming the homewrecker Chloe at first to accusing me of being heartless and ungrateful. The paparazzi caught Nathan picking me up and fabricated a story that I had long betrayed Ethan, which is why our marriage fell apart. I looked at the trending topics and couldn't help but laugh. At that moment, I received a text message. A photo of Chloe spending the night at the villa halfway up the mountain. She was lying on my bed, dressed provocatively. Last night Ethan let me stay here. Guess what we'll be doing tonight? Ethan is indeed loyal and devoted. Now that you no longer have the title of his wife, Serena, he will never come back to you. I watched her clumsy tactics with no ripple in my heart. Just then, Nathan's car was pulling through the gate downstairs. I went down, linked my arm with his, and took a photo together. The next second, I sent it to Chloe. Sorry, I got a new one. If you want to use the old one I discarded, I have no objections. I didn't avoid Nathan, his eyes glanced over my phone, and his ears flushed involuntarily. Seeing him so shy, I teased, Nathan, I heard your uncle set you up with quite a few matches, so why are you still single? Could it be because of me? He suddenly looked up, met my gaze, then shyly looked away. Although we hadn't seen each other in years, Nathan always spent lavishly on my birthday gifts every year. Alright, I'm just joking. I like you. And I'm stronger than that actor in every way. He looked at me, speaking with conviction. Yes, in a family like ours, so-called top celebrities are nothing more than toys for amusement. In my past life, I was truly blind to have done so much for Ethan. I quietly studied Nathan. He was only 2 years older than me, yet looked as mature as my father. After inheriting the Gu family, his methods were ruthless, and he quickly established his footing. When he looked at me, his eyes suddenly filled with aggression and possessiveness. I blushed instantly and hurried upstairs. A message from Nathan appeared on my phone, Serena, will you be with me? My heart pounded fiercely, and the answer was already clear in my mind. At this moment in City A, Ethan stared blankly at the interview clip over and over. Do you still love Ethan now? No, I don't. The simple sentence weighed heavily on Ethan's heart. He played it countless times, trying to find a trace of reluctance in Serena's eyes, even if it was hatred. But there was none at all. He opened the chat window with Serena. The last message was a call from her that he hadn't answered. At that time, he was on the way to the villa with Chloe. The Serena of the past wanted to cling to him constantly, even saying, I wish I could shrink down small enough to fit in your pocket. Scrolling further back, most of it was Serena's daily musings to herself. He occasionally replied. Suddenly, a message popped up from a virtual number. It contained a photo of Serena with another man. He recognized him, Nathan. That was at his and Serena's wedding. He had given an exorbitant dowry in the name of the bride's family. Both men, he could tell Nathan had feelings for Serena. But at that time, Serena's eyes held only Ethan. Ethan exploded, frantically calling Serena, only to find all his contacts blocked. He suddenly stood up, and a cry of pain came from behind him. He had risen too quickly, and the chair struck Chloe, who had come in unnoticed. Ethan was about to ask Chloe if something was wrong when he heard her voice filled with concern. Ethan, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? It's nothing. From now on, don't stay in the master bedroom anymore. Serena will be unhappy. After saying that, he hurried downstairs without paying any more attention to Chloe. There was only one thing on his mind, to see Serena and take her back to City A. I didn't directly agree to Nathan, but I still accepted his invitations every day. And he valued every date with me deeply. During the day, he worked at the company while I stayed home sketching designs, preparing to relaunch my brand. At night, he would bring different flowers to pick me up for dinner. Even at major evening events, we attended hand in hand. Nathan doesn't need to go to such lengths, preparing flowers for me every day, I said, looking at him. No matter what, I want to give you the best. Whether or not you have feelings for me, you're always my top priority. Don't feel burdened, just be happy. The usually cold-faced man, when speaking words of love, truly rivals anyone. The moment our eyes met, my heart fluttered faintly once again. What I didn't expect was that Ethan would come to City A. After finishing our Japanese meal, Nathan and I had just stepped out of the mall when we saw Ethan standing at the entrance. His beard was unkempt, not a trace of the heartthrob he once was. Wearing a simple shirt, his face looked terrible, his eyes fixed intently on me as I held Nathan's arm. After a long moment, Ethan spoke with difficulty, "Serena, I've come to take you home. Let's remarry once we get back, not wait until spring, okay?" He said this as he walked toward Nathan and me. Nathan was about to rush straight at him, but I quickly grabbed his hand. I reached out to straighten his collar and whispered, "I can handle this. You go wait in the car. I'll be right back. Stay at my place tonight, Dad said we'll go to Port City together tomorrow." I deliberately raised my voice when I said this, making sure Ethan could hear. But Nathan clearly took it well. It was the first time I'd seen him smile so happily, even the corners of his eyebrows lifted. He brushed past Ethan indifferently and strode toward the parking lot. For a moment, it was just Ethan and me left. Ethan instinctively moved closer to me, but I calmly stepped back. "Mr. Ethan, we'd better keep our distance to avoid your massive fanbase finding out. I don't want to become the woman tangled up with her ex-husband again." "Serena, Ethan's gaze avoided mine, a forced smile at the corner of his mouth tinged with bitterness. "I've asked Leo to handle the public opinion. I'm sorry, it's my fault you've been wronged. I didn't realize the public opinion would hurt you so much. I just wanted to put on a show, a fake divorce to cover things up. I know you and Nathan being together was to provoke me. You succeeded, Serena. Come home with me." "Ethan, you're overthinking. I'm not trying to provoke you. I told you, we won't see each other again." Hearing my words, Ethan's expression suddenly twisted into a grimace. "You're talking nonsense. We just broke up, how can you?" As he spoke, he tried to grab my hand, but I forcefully shook it off. Just as he was about to fall, Chloe appeared out of nowhere and caught him. "Serena, you're going too far. You just got divorced, Ethan is still heartbroken, and yet you're already dating another man. Do you even know how Ethan has been getting through these days?" I was too lazy to expose this damn green tea's disguise, so I turned and walked toward the parking lot. Behind me, Ethan shouted at me like a madman. "Serena, you must have been hooking up with Nathan all along, which is why you were so decisive about divorcing me." I was really blind too. Before he could finish, I took a swift step forward and slapped him hard across the face. "Scum like you don't even deserve the effort I put in." I was so furious, I couldn't believe Ethan could say something so shameless. Two clear tears slipped uncontrollably from the corners of my eyes. Looking at Ethan and Chloe in front of me, my heart was a tangle of emotions. "Serena, look, this is the man you're willing to risk your life to be with. How utterly ridiculous." Ethan looked at me with tears in his eyes, wanting to speak up to excuse what he had just said, but he couldn't get a word out for a long time. In the end, he could only lower his head helplessly. "I'm sorry, Serena, I will make it up to you." I couldn't help but laugh out loud. In this life and the last, I've heard that phrase too many times. Chloe's father passed away, and he left halfway through our wedding. He said, "I'll make it up to you later." On our first anniversary, Chloe threatened to kill herself, and he left the restaurant, not coming back all night. When he returned, he said, "I'm sorry, Serena, I will make it up to you." At the time, I wasn't completely unshaken by this relationship. But seeing Ethan's tired expression, I held back. I was willing to walk every path with him. And he thought that every time he made it up to me, I would let go of my pain. Little did he know, I was brainwashing myself day and night. He always said we had a long life ahead, but he forgot that feelings can be worn down by time. Looking back on the last life, I couldn't even tell if I loved Ethan or the 8 years I had poured my heart into. After a moment, I sneered, "You gave too much, I really can't accept it. I'm also a princess cradled in my parents' hands, I just can't live the colorful life of you, Ethan, the big star." I turned to leave, but Ethan panicked and grabbed my hand. No, it can't end like this. Serena, you're my wife, don't leave me behind. A flash of resentment crossed Chloe's eyes, yet she feared I might soften toward Ethan. She watched me anxiously, waiting for my next move. I couldn't help but laugh softly, pulling my hand away. I'm no longer your wife. I remember everything you said, but you deny what you did yourself? Why aren't you better yet? Ethan was about to speak when Nathan, who had returned, interrupted him. He grabbed my hand and slipped it into his pocket, lowering his head to speak to me quietly. Let's go, get some rest early. Don't waste your words on those messy people. Ethan tried to follow. Nathan stopped and gave a slight nod toward the direction behind him. Mr. Ethan, you and Miss Chloe seem quite a match. Don't come back here with a divided heart to bother my girlfriend again. Ethan's face lost color in an instant. At that moment, he clearly understood, what Serena said that day came from her heart. She didn't want him anymore. But he couldn't live without her. He wanted to rush over and beat Nathan up badly, warning him to stay away from his wife. Yet he stood frozen, unable to move. He was afraid Chloe would hate him. Ethan, Serena has been gone for a long time. Chloe gently tugged at Ethan's sleeve. Why did you come? Ethan lowered his eyes to look at her, his voice hoarse. I heard Serena has a new lover. I was afraid you'd be upset. She comforted him softly, then tried to hug Ethan, but Ethan pressed his hand on her shoulder. In an instant, her eyes welled up with tears. Ethan. Before, I hoped you and Serena would be happy, but she treated you like this. Serena doesn't want you, I want you. Let's go back and get married right away, okay? Ethan had never considered Chloe's feelings for him. He didn't dare to entertain such thoughts. Today, Chloe spoke her heart so passionately and plainly. But, he looked at Chloe, her delicate face, the corners of her eyes tinged with red. If only it were Serena saying these words now, how wonderful that would be. Why is it that Serena can turn around and have a complicated relationship with Nathan? Why am I not good enough for Chloe? Alright, Chloe, don't cry. We'll go back right now. 6 months later, Ethan and Chloe officially announced their marriage, and the news quickly spread online. With the prior build-up, most netizens sent their blessings. Naturally, new insults aimed at me emerged. I didn't care about these and began preparing for the launch of my new jewelry collection, as well as Nathan's engagement party. Just when I thought life was about to settle into a peaceful and beautiful rhythm, I received a lawyer's letter from Chloe's company. She sued me for plagiarizing her manuscript and posting it on Weibo. Comparing it to my products, they were almost identical. I had completely forgotten that the manuscripts Ethan and I had right after our wedding were all stored in the studio. Those pieces I was dissatisfied with were turned into regular designs after I returned to City A, serving as a warm-up for the upcoming Haute Couture. I never expected that the forgotten manuscripts would turn me, the designer, into the defendant. It was the same in my previous life. While I was hospitalized, Chloe took my manuscripts and founded her own jewelry brand. Her outstanding designs and exquisite craftsmanship quickly became all the rage in City A. In just 1 year, Chloe had entered the circles of wealthy women. After marrying Ethan, I hit a creative block, and Chloe must have thought I was completely out of ideas. That there would be nothing new from me. So she smugly believed that holding on to my manuscripts guaranteed her security. I didn't respond. Instead, I immediately pulled all finished products from the shelves and moved up the launch date for my new collection. For a while, netizens buzzed with speculation. After the launch was moved up, my workload suddenly increased, leaving me no time to pay attention to those online comments. Then, a message popped up on my phone again. Serena, I hope this time you won't lose your reputation the way you lost your husband. I didn't reply. Because what I wanted to tell him was this: Chloe, the only things that hold weight are strength and facts. On the day of the press conference, I arrived early at the venue. Even though I was now infamous, any kind of notoriety is still attention, and no media outlet would pass up such natural traffic. The venue was packed with countless media and spectators. I will not be making any clarifications at today's press conference. I will only release the products I intend to release. I will recall the previously sold products at double the price and upgrade all the new products that were previously taken off the shelves. The new products are modifications I made based on the old versions. All the works released today will have their design inspirations and creative elements simultaneously shared on the official website. My press conference was in full swing, the flawless design refreshing everyone present. Most of the media there were leaning in my favor. Miss Serena, your teacher once publicly said you were her most regrettable disciple. Have you really run out of talent? Are these truly your own works? Such perfect pieces, why not take this opportunity to clarify? Is it because you really stole inspiration from Miss Chloe? Before I could respond to these questions, someone shouted, "Look at the trending searches." I signaled my assistant to hand me the phone. It was Nathan. He had compiled all the evidence of what Ethan had done for Chloe over the years and his countless broken promises to me, forming a closed loop, and posted it online. Then he released the surveillance footage from the mall entrance that day. Ethan's words, "I just wanted to put on a show, a fake divorce to cover things up." My teacher also went live, comparing my old practice drafts with the manuscripts Chloe posted. It confirmed that Chloe had stolen my design drafts. Although City A is far from Beijing, once the matter reaches the media, it spreads rapidly. Public opinion quickly polarized, but it had nothing to do with me. Some said Ethan was insincere, others claimed Chloe was exploiting gratitude to sabotage my marriage with Ethan. Ethan was immediately banned across the entire internet. Just as netizens were furiously criticizing, Nathan released evidence showing Chloe orchestrated the whole thing herself, hiring people to secretly photograph her and Ethan, and even buying fake followers to spread rumors that she was the other woman. The gossip crowd was busier than ever. Ethan, who was sending Chloe to the airport and wanted her to lay low, saw this and immediately stopped the car, throwing Chloe out by the roadside. Chloe suddenly went mad, pointing at Ethan and shouting, "Ethan, I just wanted to be your wife. You didn't love her, so you let me take advantage. I'm ruthless, but you're even worse, starting something you never intended to finish, a complete scoundrel." Ethan fainted on the spot and was taken away by ambulance. The video was recorded by netizens and went viral online. Ethan woke up, slunk away abroad, and was never heard from again. On the wedding day, Nathan personally came to pick me up. I wore the finished design piece left behind at the villa in City A. He gave me a grand wedding, a sea of flowers throughout the city, and fireworks all night long. The scandal between Ethan and Chloe exploded wildly, propelling my brand to peak success right from its debut, sweeping through major shopping malls nationwide. In an instant, I became the hottest designer in City A and even across the country. A guest teased Nathan, saying that marrying me was a blessing he earned in a past life. He responded boldly, holding the microphone and speaking loudly, "That's right, being Serena's husband is my blessing. I will spend my whole life proving my love for Miss Serena." I looked up at him, reaching out to touch his neck. Softly, I whispered in his ear, "You've already proven your love for a lifetime, now it's my turn to love you in this life." At night, Nathan held me through my wild passion again and again, until the sky gradually lightened. I gazed at his chiseled profile and gently pressed a kiss upon it. "Nathan, you don't know, that set of pearl jewelry I love the most, that's the very set I wore in my dreams when I married you." Nathan's eyelashes fluttered slightly, unsure if he had heard it.